If you've ever stood in the tool aisle, looked at a big-name tool brand with a sky-high price tag, and wondered, am I paying for quality or just the name? Then this video is for you. I've spoken to so many real professionals, people who put their own money into it, with no funding, no backroom deals. And the interesting thing is this: there are tools they never buy anywhere else but Lowe's. It's not because it's cheap, but because they get exactly the value they need there. No more, no less. Big brands are very good at marketing, but professionals don't buy based on advertising. They buy based on experience. And today's list is built on just that: the tools that real tradespeople, long-time DIYers, small workshops, rely on every day. This video is not intended to disparage any brand. The goal is very simple: 10 tools that professionals say you should only buy at Lowe's. And trust me, tool number 7 on this list, 90% of viewers haven't noticed it, even though it could save you a lot of time and money. Don't take your eyes off it to see what tool it is. Let me just be blunt, nobody needs this mini toolbox, but once they see it at Lowe's, a lot of people can't resist. I am one of them. It sat right in the middle of the aisle, tiny, heavier than you'd expect, priced at $19.98, less than the cost of a decent lunch. You pick it up, open it, try pulling out a few drawers, and your brain starts making excuses. Well, it's fine for pencils, it's fine for calipers, and it's convenient for screws you use often. And that's it. It followed you home. The beauty of this dish isn't about how much it can hold, but rather the feeling of having everything right in front of you every time you reach for something. You don't have to bend down, open large bins, or rummage around. It's like the VIP toolbox on your desk. Put the everyday items, pens, rulers, calipers, tape, all here. Just by looking at it, you can tell what's missing and what's in excess. Don't worry about the build. It's heavy and solid in a way that you know it's not a toy just by holding it. On top, there's also a rubber pad for placing phones, components, or even a cup of coffee without worrying about slipping. It's also stackable, meaning if you accidentally buy another one, you can just place it on top. And here's the key point: DeWalt, Milwaukee, Bosch, none of them have an equivalent at this price point. It's not that they can't do it, it's that they don't do things that strongly appeal to the senses, making people happy just by seeing them. Kobalt is doing exactly the right thing there. So the question for you is, on your desk, how many items do you use every day but are currently in the wrong place? And if there was a small box to gather them all together, would you use it? The next item on the list is completely different. Not cute, not viral, but something that can save you from very annoying errors while working. And if you've ever measured wrong just because you estimated, you'll understand right away. Oh, if you like this kind of straightforward, authentic experience, then subscribing to the channel is a good idea. I'm not promising anything grand, just continuing to uncover truly valuable tools. To be honest, everyone thinks they have enough level, until they hang the shelf, step back to look at it, and wonder, why is it a little crooked? And at that point, the level you're using starts to show its true nature. It only tells you that you're wrong, but not by how much. This is why this 12-inch Kobalt torpedo level deserves to be on the list of things only worth buying at Lowe's. First of all, 12 inches doesn't sound like much, but in reality, it's completely different from the 8-inch torpedoes most people are using. It's a little longer, but when placed on a wooden beam, door frame, or cabinet edge, it gives you a much more stable feel, less susceptible to slight impacts causing misalignment, and less need for repeated placement. But the real money-making point is the bubble on the side. It doesn't just say you're off, it tells you exactly how much you're off, down to the nearest 1/8 inch. To put it simply, to make it easier to understand, instead of the doctor saying you have a slight fever, this level states it directly as 38 degrees. And believe me, in these odd jobs, knowing how wrong you are helps you correct yourself much faster. You don't have to guess. You don't have to adjust it 3 or 4 times until you're tired. Compared to the big, flashy, and very professional-looking brands, Kobalt isn't more beautiful, but it's more practical. It's not trying to make you feel like a skilled craftsman. It's only doing one thing: reducing errors. And everyone in the trade knows about errors. A small mistake at the beginning means a lot of work to fix later. So, let me ask you honestly. How many times have you had to take it apart and redo it just because you thought it was probably okay? The next item on the list completely shifts to another world. Electricity, wires, and things that, if done carelessly, are both time-consuming and frustrating. And there, Lowe's has a very strong card. If you've ever done anything involving electrical wires, you'll understand this very down-to-earth truth. The most tiring part isn't the work itself, but constantly switching tools. Just finished stripping the wire, and now I have to find a knife. After cutting the peel, I rummaged for pliers again. Once everything was done, I twisted the wires, attached the wire nuts. Before my hands could get used to the rhythm, my brain had to stop to switch tools. This Klein 5-in-1 is born to cut that rhythm, essentially. It does the 5 most familiar things when it comes to electricity: stripping cable sheathing, stripping wires, bending loops, twisting wires, and tightening wire nuts. It sounds ordinary, but when you actually pick it up and use it, you'll see where the value lies. You hook your tongue into the wire casing, pull in a line, and the outer layer neatly comes off. To strip the wire, place it in the correct groove, squeeze gently, and pull it out. To make a loop, attach it, then twist your wrist once, and you'll get a beautiful circle. With wire nuts, you don't have to twist by hand until your fingers are sore anymore. Just a few turns, and you're done. There's no sense of showing off technology, no flashy displays. It's like a Swiss Army knife in a tradesperson's pocket. Not beautiful, not fancy, but after using it, you feel relieved. And why should this item only be bought at Lowe's? It's simple: genuine Klein, priced at $14.98, which is much lower than many specialty electrical stores. No need to hunt for sales, no need to wait for a special occasion. Come in and buy. Buy and use it right away. There's something very true about electricians that I see this tool clearly reflects. They don't like to change tools, they like to change their work rhythm. The less you stop, the less you rummage, the faster, neater, and less frustrated you'll be. And you? What do you think? When you're doing electrical work, how many tools do you have on the table just waiting for their turn? Oh, if you like this kind of straightforward, authentic experience, then subscribing to the channel is a good idea. I'm not promising anything grand, just continuing to uncover truly valuable tools. The next item on the list returns to wood and measurement, but this time it's an item that has existed for 100 years and is still purchased for a very simple reason. It does the job right, without any frills. A speed square is something that everyone who works with wood has, and it's also something that many people underestimate. I just bought a thin, lightweight one with faint lines, thinking to myself, it's just a square. How different can it be? Then, when it came time to cut, assemble, and join everything, things started to go off in a very annoying way, but not wrong enough for you to notice right away. That's why this Swanson combo is worth being on the list of things you should only buy at Lowe's. First, let's talk about money for easier understanding. $17.98 for 2 speed squares, one 7-inch and one 4.5-inch. If you buy them separately, these two would be about $29, meaning Lowe's sells you a fast food meal in exchange for 2 items that will last you a dozen years. That sounds reasonable, but what made people trust Swanson wasn't the price. It's the feeling of picking it up. It's thick, heavy, and feels solid in your hand. When placed on the wooden board, it stays still, doesn't slide, and doesn't bend. When you're striping the road, you don't have to hold your breath to keep it from moving. It's like someone standing guard for you. Instead of a fragile piece of metal just waiting to slip half a cup, Swanson has been making speed squares for over 100 years, and they still make them in the USA. It's not because they're old-fashioned, but because this item just needs to be right and durable. It doesn't need to be updated every year. Clear black lines, common angles are already available. No need to memorize them. You place, you draw, you cut, done. So, a little under the radar for fun. Cheap speed squares are like curved rulers. It doesn't break the project immediately, but it sows the seeds for errors. And anyone who's worked in the trade knows. A slight mistake at that point means you'll be fixing it for hours afterward. Can I ask you something? The speed square you're using, is it heavy or light as a toy? The next dish, however, went in the complete opposite direction. No measuring, no cutting, but rather trimming, cutting close, and cutting so that no trace was left. There is a very interesting type of tool in the professional world. No one shows it off, but everyone who uses it keeps it carefully. This Irwin Marples flush-cut saw is right in that group. It's not big, it's not heavy. If you don't look at the pro like you're holding it up, you'll see power. But when it comes time to cut the wood surface, cut the peg, the dowel, or a little extra dream, you'll understand why this dish is worth buying at Lowe's without looking at another big brand. The first good thing is that the saw blade is very smooth. No need to remember any numbers to get tired. Just imagine this. When you pull the saw, it eats the wood slowly, without jerking or scratching. It feels like cutting with a sharp knife, not tearing wood. The result is a close and clean cutting surface, leaving no unpleasant scratches that you have to sand and repair afterward. The second good thing is that it doesn't cause trouble. No need to adjust, no need to soup, no need for high technology. Place close to the surface, gently pull, and you're done. If you have ever used other methods, saws are too manual. Knives are uneven, you will see the feeling. I should have used this from the beginning, it was very clear. A very old trick that anyone who has used flush cut for a long time knows. Lining a card between the saw blade and the wooden surface. It sounds a bit funny, but it's like wearing a thin protective top. After cutting, the wood is still as beautiful as if it had never been touched. And this is why this dish doesn't need a big brand. It's not a tool to show off, but a tool to finish the job neatly. Under $20 buying at Lowe's means you have ready-made goods. Take them home and use them immediately. No need to think, what about you? The last time you finished cutting it, you still had to sit back and fix it because it was a little off. The next dish on the list is a daily use, wears out every day. And if you buy it in the wrong place, you'll spend money over and over again without realizing it. Don't forget, if you find small dishes, but something like this worth mentioning, then subscribing to the channel is not too much. At least so that next time you don't buy some nice threads by mistake. On the shelf. Paper knives are something everyone has at least a few, and are also the most overlooked thing. Buy anywhere. It's cheap. If it's broken, leave it. But if you work evenly, cutting cartons, cutting thin wood, cutting plaster, cutting all kinds of junk every day, you will realize something very real. Money is not in the knife, but in the pile of blades you change throughout the year. This is why the Alpha plus Kobalt combo at Lowe's is worth mentioning separately. Talk about previous experiences. When Alpha knife is held up, you see the dress in your hand, not loose. The kind of handle that you're not afraid of cutting is vibrating. Its black tongue is very sharp, cuts the thick carton, and sounds neat, without having to slit it over and over again. People say it's about 25% sharper, but I understand it's simply like this. Cut it fewer times, less frustrating. But what makes Lowe's completely beat the big brand lies in the deal. For $19.98, you have 2 Kobalt folding knives with 50 additional blades, which works out to 52 blades, while many other brands sell you very nice knives, and then sell the tongue at a price that makes you swallow every extra purchase. Here's the difference. Big brands sell tools, and Lowe's sells lifetime. You don't have to sell. You don't have to change brands. You don't have to regret your tongue and try to use bluntness. When it's over, break it. Change it. Keep doing it. Was the last time you changed the blade because it was really blunt? Or because you regretted the money, so you tried to use more? The next item on the list is even smaller, looks even more harmless, but it's something that anyone repairing electronics and small machines needs sooner or later. There is a very characteristic type of snail, a tiny, deep-lying snail, without any screwdrivers. It's not a big deal, it's not a grand project, but it makes you stand there, stare, and start wondering, Why doesn't it keep being done with something so simple? This 18-piece Craftsman precision set was created to be handled correctly at those times. It's not the type of kit to show off. Compact, fits in a hard box, opens to see everything in its right place. And that feeling is very important. You just need to look to know what's missing. If there's no scene, you'll probably drop it somewhere. For things like opening electronics, fixing gauges, getting O-rings, adjusting tiny screws in switches, locks, or household appliances, this set is enough and fits. Its handle is very good, not slippery, not light. There is a rotating head on the back, so when twisting, you just need to hold it gently with your palm, turn your finger, and the screw will enter very smoothly. It feels like using a good pen. It doesn't work faster, but it's less tiring. And with the little screws, if you're less tired, you'll win. Another good point is the hooked trees that come with it. It looks funny, but when it comes time to pull an O-ring, hook a rope, or pull a piece of plastic out of a narrow gap, you see that it's different. No need to make things. No need to use a large needle or a large screwdriver to poke. $18.98 for 18 dishes. Each cost less than $1.50, and used at the right time is worth several times more. And this is the style of set that Lowe's sells very reasonably, just good enough, durable enough, not priced because the names are too flashy. When was the last time you made a makeshift screwdriver to screw up a small screw? If you see small tools that save a lot of situations like this worth mentioning, then registering for the channel is considered so you don't have to search for miscellaneous replacements next time. Now, let's get to the next dishes. A slightly rougher handheld item used to trap, pull, and deal with stubborn things that our hands can't stand. If you've ever had to screw in a drawer, behind an electrical outlet, close to a wall, you'll understand. There's no shortage of force, just a lack of hand rotation. And that's when the long, beautiful, professional-looking screwdrivers become useless. This Klein 10-in-1 stubby solves that problem, very neatly and without coloring. First of all, it's short. Sounds a bit funny, but short here is the advantage. If you pick it up, you will immediately know that it was born to work in tight spaces. If you put your hand in, you can twist it right away. No need to tilt your wrist, no need to rotate little by little and then curse silently. But the good thing is, short doesn't mean weak. The included bits are impact rated. The simple thing is, if you need to, pull it out straight, attach it to the impact driver, and shoot again. No need to change other sets. No need to go back to the car to get more stuff. A screwdriver, but can do the work of both hand and machine screwdrivers. That's the kind of convenience that I use before I see why I didn't have it before. Its layout is also very worker-friendly. The bit fits inside the body, pulls it out and sees everything. Not the green. There are two common hex heads used to twist hex head snails, which are common in electrical and light mechanical engineering. Everything is in a solid block. The handle is not smooth or empty. Compared to many large brands that sell a whole set of long and short screwdrivers of all kinds, Klein chose another way. One tree, making many shoulders. And at a price range of $19.98 buying at Lowe's is the most reasonable. At the right price. At the right quality. Without having to pay extra for things you don't use. In your box, how many screwdrivers are almost the same? Only different in length. Try sharing to see if we are the same. The next dish is completely different. No twisting, no cutting, but scissors, levers, and dealing with the stubborn nails that make many people most impatient. There's a very familiar moment in repair projects. The nail is lying flat. The head is close to the wood. The hammer can't be hooked in. Your hands start to itch, and there's only one thought left in your head. Why is this so uncomfortable? That's when this Estwing ProClaw came in and saved the whole session. Looking at it for the first time, many people happily call it snake tongue, split ends, thin, pointed, not friendly at all, but it is that shape that is the point of eating money. You put it close to the tip of the nail, tap a few lightly with a hammer, and it goes under the tip of the nail as if it were born to do it. No need to cut the wood first, no need to pry it distorted, no need to shake it back and forth to the point where the wood cracks. The beauty of ProClaw is leverage. It gives you the feeling that this blow is solid, not a pull and pray for luck. One side to go deep, the other side to leap harder when the nail has moved. After using it, there are nails that without it. It will take you 5 to 10 minutes to struggle. But with ProClaw, it's done in a few seconds. And why should you only buy this dish at Lowe's? Simple, genuine Estwing, American steel build, price $19.98 is very reasonable. No need to upgrade. No need for Pro Max version. This dish doesn't have much to upgrade. It either gets the job done or it doesn't. And this one does very well. A very real problem that everyone in the profession understands. The tool to reduce irritability is a tool worth the money. Not because of how much faster it is, but because it doesn't break your pace. Well, if you find the tools look simple, but save the whole session like this worth mentioning, then subscribing to the channel is also considered, so that next time you don't have to silently curse stubborn nails. And the last dish on the list is much smaller, much cheaper, but it's something that when you don't have it, you find yourself missing it all the time. If this ruler is correct, there is nothing to show off. Small, short, doesn't look pro, dangles on keychain, $5.98 is cheaper than a cup of coffee. But here's the irony. This is a tool that makes you wonder why you didn't bring this with you before. You won't use it in the workshop. You use it in the parking lot, in Lowe's aisle, when you stand looking at a board or cabinet and trying to guess with your eyes whether it fits the car or not. And anyone who has ever guessed and taken it home to find it more than 2 inches long will understand how uncomfortable that feeling is. 6 feet is not for measuring houses, measuring walls, measuring large projects. 6 feet is to answer some very real questions. Does this fit in the trunk? Does it leave any extra on that shelf? How much is okay to cut this part? It's like a lighter in a bag. Don't use it every day, but when you need it, but don't have it, you remember it immediately. And why should you only buy this dish at Lowe's? Because Craftsman made this ruler in the spirit of a survival tool. Simple, sturdy enough, smooth pull out and pull in. The keychain can be hung anywhere. No color, no trying to be luxurious. Big brands can make better, longer, more expensive rulers. But no one makes rulers that are always with you reasonably like this. There is a very true sentence that everyone who has worked for a long time has nodded. The best tool is not the strongest tool, but the tool in your pocket when you need it. And the last time you stood in the store, looked at the item and told yourself you must have just, and then came home to know when it wasn't. At this point, you've probably seen one thing clearly. This video isn't about saying Lowe's is always better, and it's not about drowning any big brand. DeWalt, Milwaukee, Bosch, they are still very good and have things worth every penny. But the 10 tools on this list are items that many longtime DIY and professional people have drawn a very lifelong conclusion. Buying at Lowe's is the most reasonable. Buying elsewhere is easy to pay in excess, not because they're the cheapest, but because they do the right thing, at the right price, without forcing you to pay extra for things you don't use. And that's what people do that really care about. Now it's your turn. Which dish do you agree with the most? Or is there something you've used that doesn't look like the rumors? Are there any Lowe's tools you think are worth adding to this list? Just leave your opinion below. The more mixed it is, the more fun it is because everyone nodded when talking about the tool. Very boring. If you like straight, analysis style, life without advertising for anyone, then channel registration is a reasonable choice. Don't promise to review everything. Just talk about real money-worthy items so you don't have to pay tuition out of pocket. This is sharing personal experiences. Whether the tool is suitable or not depends on each person's needs, how they are made, and how often they are used. Prices may vary by time and region. Thank you for following to the end. See you in the next video.